What is going on, everyone? Let's do a second video in the best places to live in the different US regions series. If you didn't see the first video, or if this is the first time you made it to the channel, well, welcome. But this is a series about the different regions in the US and the best places to live in those regions. Here's a quick recap. The nation's 4 main regions defined by the US Census Bureau are the West, Midwest, South, and Northeast. But most people see the country as 5 regions: the West, the Southwest, the Midwest, the Southeast, and the Northeast. That's just how it is. And that's the way we're gonna do these lists. Some people see it other ways and think the country is separated by several other sub-regions like the Deep South, the Mountain Region, the Pacific, the Bible Belt, the Weed Belt, and the Rust Belt. We also have some other areas outside the US mainland like Hawaii and Alaska. Alaska sort of. I mean, technically Alaska is part of the mainland. It's just separated by a bunch of Canucks. But contiguous is the word they use. The regions are the contiguous US states. Alaska and Hawaii are part of the Pacific region, but we didn't include them on this one. I will do a list of US territories, and I'll include the non-contiguous states, Alaska and Hawaii, just to fill up that list. And I know they're not territories. Stop typing. It's just how I'm gonna do it. That being said, why don't we find out where the best places to live in our second video of the series. Here's my top 10 best places to live in the Northeast. Number 10, Hope Valley and Wyoming, Rhode Island. Now, these two are a little out of the way in southwest Rhode Island. Wyoming is a little village of about 200 residents next to the town of Hope Valley, with about 1,600 residents. Now, this is all according to the US Census Bureau. This little area is amazing statistically and visually. During Christmas, the lights are up, and Halloween, there's pumpkins on almost every single porch. They have no crime, they have jobs, good schools. The cost of living isn't terrible. It's up there, but it's not terrible. These two have been here longer than the United States. The only bad thing about this is, as you can imagine, that part of the country, the weather kind of sucks. But everything else here is nice. I mean, it might be a little boring if you move here. These are out of the way and kind of out in the, the woods a little bit, but they're nice. If you're expecting to go here and go clubbing every night, it's probably the wrong place to go. But these are great little towns. They're right next to each other. They're kind of one and the same. Number 9, Skaggsville, Maryland. Skaggsville is an unincorporated section of Howard County with about 24,000 residents, and it's a horrible name for a town. A skag is a fin on the bottom of a surfboard that you never really think about. And also, it was a derogatory term for girls you never thought about when I was in high school. I know, that's not very PC, but I was 16 and that was like 35 years ago. Things have changed since then. Don't judge me. Anyway, Skaggsville is located about 20 miles outside of Baltimore with an incredibly low crime rate. Being that close to Baltimore, you'd think they'd have to have a moat around it to be that safe. The typical crime rate here is about 3 times less than elsewhere in the state, or 64% lower than the national average. Although there is minimal crime, it's mostly like property crime, not too much on the violent crime side. They got good schools, things to do, great health care, low crime. It's a great place to live. Number 8, Essex, Vermont. Essex is right outside of Burlington, Vermont. Essex has some of the best schools in the area. This small town has just under 10,000 residents and has about 3,700 students who get an opportunity to benefit from the schools. Essex Community Education Center, which would be like their high school, has an extremely low teacher to student ratio. It's 9-to-1. This helps the graduation rate of almost 95%. With the smaller class size and more one-on-one time with the teachers, they're going to learn some more stuff. They have almost no crime, good health care. They do have car accidents with moose involved, which is always a bad thing. It kind of sucks. The good news is they have a lot of attorneys in Burlington in case you want to, sue Bullwinkle. Make sure you have good car insurance if you move to Essex, Vermont. Number 7, Yarmouth, Maine. Yarmouth is right off the Royal River with nearly 6,000 residents. This town is known for its annual Yarmouth Clam Festival that attracts around 120,000 people over the course of a 3-day weekend. That's a lot of people. Employment among the residents is pretty good here. The city has an extremely low unemployment rate of 2.2%. That's according to bestplaces.net. The median household income is about $65,000. The cost of living and weather are the only knocks this town has. Really, it's a really, really nice town. I'm sure the locals have a love-hate relationship with the Clam Festival. When your town blows up like by 15 times its normal size and population, I'm sure that gets a little annoying. Number 6, Hanover, New Hampshire. Hanover is one of the best places to move to in the state when it comes to education. The city offers 3 public schools, all have incredible reviews, getting about 80% positivity. Hanover High School has an incredibly low student-to-teacher ratio, which is 11-1. Not as good as that one we had earlier, which was 9-1, but 11-1 still a solid number. Now, this helps the graduation rate. Their graduation rate is 97%. You know, in the terms of graduation rate, most schools, if they're getting 88, 89, 90, that's a good number. 97 is phenomenal. Obviously, you want it to be about 100%, but you know, someone falls through the cracks every year. That just happens. This is also home to Dartmouth College, which is located right in the city. Dartmouth is one of the best schools in the country, and I'm sure a majority of the students see this as a future goal. And of course, you're gonna have the ones that are gonna leave comments in a minute and go, I grew up in Hanover and I never wanted to go there. I wanted to go to Arizona State so I could party and start on my liver disease early. Anyway, side note, when I did a video about New Hampshire last year, I think, I called Dartmouth on purpose. I find it so entertaining when people lose their frickin' mind over a mispronounced local name. Now, we get it up here in Portland too. Going through the middle of town, we have the Willamette River, and new people move here all the time. I've heard Wilhelmina River, you know. Wilhelmina was the worst, actually, but Wilmette is another good one. We get them all the time, but these people lost their mind. I was getting threats. I was getting it was phenomenal. You would think I said something mean to their grandmother, then stole her walker and ran off laughing. Good times. Number 5, Belmont, Massachusetts. Belmont is a very safe city right outside of Boston. Crime doesn't happen often here. The overall crime rate is about 70% lower than the national average. Since the city lacks crime, the news often has to report things like actor Chris Evans is filming in the city, a new chocolate shop opened up or something like that, or some of the locals feel that out-of-town grifters have fixed the local Thursday night bingo game. You know, big headlines like that. Number 4, Pike Creek, Delaware. Pike Creek is a county area just west of Wilmington, the state's largest city. If you know anything about Wilmington, Delaware, you should be shocked that anything within a 30-mile radius would be considered nice. Pike Creek is a great place to live with only about 9,000 residents. This community is full of well-educated residents, with almost everyone having a job. About 97% of the population has completed high school, and I'm sure that has something to do with the extremely low unemployment rate of 1.8%. The average income here is about $55,000 a year. Every stat but cost of living gets a passing grade in Pike Creek, with crime and schools getting A pluses. You know, it's Delaware, so the weather is going to be down there a little bit, but that's not even that bad. It was a C. Number 3, Glastonbury, Connecticut. Glastonbury is a suburb of Hartford. Glastonbury is a place you move to when you need a job. Being so close to a big city, it offers you many more opportunities you wouldn't get living in a nice rural area away from town. The unemployment rate here is extremely low at around 2%. The largest industries in the area are finance, real estate, and insurance. When I say insurance, I'm talking about the big major insurance companies. I'm not talking about your local Geico and Progressive Insurance. It's like the real big ones. If you just drive through Glastonbury, you will see house after house with driveways that are like 3 times longer than the house. That's usually a sign the house is worth some money and the people inside have some money. Chances of your neighbor being a doctor, a lawyer, a CEO, a CFO are pretty good. Again, everything here gets high marks but weather and cost of living. Number 2, Honesdale, Pennsylvania. Now, this one wasn't a tough one. If you've been watching this channel, you know I love Honesdale, Pennsylvania. It is hard to find a place this nice in all the aspects. Sure, you might find a place that has a few things they don't, but when you look at the whole picture, you'll see what I mean. Zero crime, great food, great wine, an adorable main street and courthouse. Then when you go a step further, the knocks that are at other locations like cost of living and home prices, they aren't here. Honesdale doesn't have those. Good cost of living and home prices are decent. The cost of living is graded a B, schools are good, and the healthcare is unbelievable for a small town like this. Probably unbelievable anywhere, but this is a smaller town and they have a giant hospital. I've talked about that before. I find that amazing. I just went to Honesdale and we'll have a video up about it soon. You'll see what I'm talking about. And number 1, Williamsville, New York. When it comes to great small towns or villages in New York State, it's hard to single out one or two. Williamsville is a village in Erie County, New York. Williamsville is about 45 minutes from the New York-Canada border. Schools here are some of the best in the area. There are 9 public schools in the area with an average test score that's 25% higher than the national average. The area also has a high graduation rate at about 96%, solid numbers by any city or state standards. Schools almost outshine every other positive thing in Williamsville. And the added bonus for almost all Americans over the age of 40 that might want to move here, you are a short drive away from Canada and half-price medication. For you younger subscribers, and you have no idea what I'm talking about, as you get older, you sometimes need medication so you don't die. There are some of us in this country that are paying over $1,000 a month to stay alive. And that's even with insurance. My mother-in-law was paying about $1,100 a month for the longest time just to stay alive. Basically, I've oversimplified it, obviously, but that's kind of the nuts and bolts of it. It's good to get cheap medication in Canada. Alright, so that's my top 10 best places to live in the northeastern region of the United States. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now, this was in no particular order. I just, each state got representation, but New Jersey, because I couldn't find anything. Don't forget all the links below. Everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other.